Thanks for joining me on today's vlog when I'm going to be covering the £9.50 holidays in Europe. So you might be a bit like me when I first heard of these holidays thinking, I don't really get it. You're trying to tell me that I can go somewhere that's really hot and beautiful and has an abundance of pools and children's entertainment and water slides and all sorts going on, and I can take my family in the school holidays with the flights for like £350. Not possible. Totally possible. My family have now done 4 of these European holiday trips, and we've done 3 in Italy and 1 in Holland, and they're all absolutely awesome. So if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say £9.50 holidays, it's a promotion run by a certain newspaper where you collect code words and then you can book these holidays online. But however, you don't actually have to buy the paper to get the code words. If you just Google in £9.50 holidays, the first hit should come up with a booking page. If you Google £9.50 holiday codes, the first hit should give you up a lovely page which will have all the code words on it. What's the dog doing? What are you doing? Don't wee there. Don't wee there. She's just a puppy, she wees everywhere. So the European holidays in the £9.50 holiday promotion are operated by Eurocamp. Now, Eurocamp are in parks all across Europe, and I think that we as Brits massively underutilise the European holiday parks. The thing a lot of people don't really know is that the large and extra large parks generally have 4 or 5 different tour operators working for them, so it won't just be Eurocamp, there'll be some German, some French, some Dutch holiday companies as well. Now what that means is there's a whole range of accommodation available, from luxury villas down to your bog standard caravans, which we're going to be chatting about. But the facilities therefore are made for all of these different types of accommodation and are usually really, really great. Drawbacks and extra costs. Before we go any further into how to book or know what's a good park or bad park or any of that stuff, there are a couple of drawbacks to these holidays that you need to be aware of. The first one is that most of these parks aren't particularly accessible by public transport. You are really going to need a car to be able to get there and travel easily. So someone's going to have to drive on the other side of the road. The other thing is the accommodation is basic, you know. You're not paying much money. They tend to be the older caravans on the site. Think kind of Girl Guides 1984 youth hustling. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm going to try and be clever here and put some stuff over the top so you can actually see what it's like inside. But you know, they're clean. The ones we've stayed in have always had a deck out the front. The air conditioning's worked. It's roasting hot anyway where we go, so we're only going to be in it of a night time to sleep. So you know, I'm happy with that. Maybe you won't be, but for us that's okay. I can live with that. Extra costs are obviously getting there. You've got the flights to consider. I'm actually going to do a really quick vlog after this one on bagging cheap flights, because I thought that might be helpful to some people. And you've got all the ferry or however you're going to get there, so you've got to add those costs in. There's a £7.50 per unit per night service charge that you have to pay, and you need to think about the fact that there's really very little in the caravans. They do have, you know, plates, knives, forks, cups, that kind of thing, that's all there, but there's no linen. You have to order additional linen packs if you don't want to drag all your bedding with you all the way across to Europe. So I know, because I've just done it, it's £12.50 for the singles pack, which is the duvet, pillowcase, and towel, and it's £15 for the double. But there are absolutely loads of plus-sized European holiday parks. The thing I love most, absolutely, is the fact there is no extra cost for any of the entertainment. I've done the UK holiday parks. Do you know the kind of thing I mean? When they charge you £50,000 to go for 5 minutes in the pool, and it's a bit of a Ruka ridden, and Auntie Maureen's knickers are in the shallow end, and you know, and then it starts pouring with rain because we're in Britain, and then you have to pay £25 to go into the inside football bit, and the entirety of the British population is in there to share it with you. None of that happens in the European parks. In fact, they actually think that's a bit weird. Everything is free. All the children's entertainment is free. All the pools, the slides, everything, you know, is covered. The only things that aren't covered, which I would expect anywhere, is kind of some parks have like an additional little fairground bit where they might have those freaky, horrible bungee jump things where they throw your children up in the air with very little regard for health and safety. And things like that are like £2.50 a go or something. So, but other than that, everything's all in. And the benefits, the weather. Yay! Generally we go places where it's sunny. There's not much else to say about that. soggy Britain, hot Italy. So, how do you bag one of these holidays, and how do you know which is a good park and which is a bad park and what there's going to be, and yada 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 yada. Now, my one top tip before you book these holidays is absolutely, if you can, is to get your hands on one of these. Bum bum bum! It's the Eurocamp brochure, worth its weight in gold. You can do this on their website and it will give you all the same information. I just find the brochure is just so much easier, especially the way you've got to book it via the £9.50 holiday site. So the brochure will cover everything that is handy to know. It will, obviously, the parks and facilities, all that thing. The top tips that I kind of use are, I will generally go for large or extra large parks, because I know then that the facilities are more holiday operators are likely to use there, so they're kind of better and bigger. You know, more kids entertainment, which I'm saying, that kind of thing. And I try to only go for parks with a review rating of kind of 8.4 and over, because I want to go somewhere nice, right? So what you need to do before you are ready to book is you need to be flexible. Be warned here, you need to be flexible. You can't be fussy, really. You can't be fussy for that much money. That's not realistic. But so what I do is I will get the brochure. I will write down maybe 8 to 12 parks I really like the look of. The cool thing is that most of the parks, and nearly all of the parks in here, obviously on the Eurocamp website, it's the same thing, are available on the £9.50 holidays. I was surprised by that. I thought it would only be like the slightly lower end of the parks, but it isn't. It's all of them. So I write down a list of maybe 8 to 12 parks that I like the look of in here. It could be all over the place, or it could just be one country if we really want to go somewhere. And then I will write down the dates that I know we can travel. Now, you have to be quite flexible with the dates you can travel with the £9.50 holidays, because you have to have 4 choices when you go to book. We're going to do a live booking thing in a minute. I was just going to show you how it worked. So you do have to be flexible. You have to pick 4 dates in which you can travel. Now, it might be that the dates don't fall exactly on the dates you want to travel on. So we have a couple of times booked when, say for example, it's the Friday and it starts on the Friday and the school hasn't broken up yet. Or we can, sometimes we had one where it was the Monday that we came back and school started back on the Monday. Now, if your child wants to, you know, develop a terrible cold for that day and not be able to go to school, you know, that's your bag. But what we actually did, because, you know, I was a really good parent. I'd already taken them to Disneyland Paris, but okay. Because I was a really good parent, we just left a day early. We flew back on the Sunday, you know, because I've paid barely anything for the holiday, so I don't mind just missing a night so that we can get back in time. So just bear that in mind when you are going through the dates you'll be able to travel. So we have the list of dates that you can travel in. You've got a list of parks that you like the look of, and you've got the code words because you've Googled your code words. So should we go and have a look and see if we can do a live, you know, shizzle thing, booking. Okay, so I thought I'd do a live booking of how it looks like and what we're going to do. So I've got opened the £9.50 holidays website page. I've also got the page open that has all the codes on it, and I'm just going to click book now, and then this will appear blank. It's because I've already filled them in before that it's done it, but I would just copy and paste these ones over into these boxes, and then just fill in your email address. And it brings us up into the holiday search page. So we know that we are a party of 4. We've looked through the Eurocamp brochure, or we've been on the website and chosen the ones we like. The European parks are always down at the bottom. So let's say I'm going to Italy, because that's where I always go, because I love it. I want to go for 7 nights, so click the 7-night box. This is slightly annoying that it always scrolls back to the top, so just you'll have to keep scrolling down. You've got no choice. You've got to keep scrolling down. So let's say I know that one looks quite nice in the brochure. One in Holland. So we're clicking the 7 nights because you want to go for the half term, the Easter holiday, sorry. So I know that for the girls' school, it's this week. Now you do have to put in 4 dates. You know, there are loads and loads of summer holiday weeks here, so you can but try, eh? And then just click search, and you will come to a page where it says yes. That's when you get excited, because that means that some of the ones we've chosen are available. So Norsina Girasol, which is amazing because that is such a cool park, which is where we've been, is available on the 27th, which is the day the half term starts. So awesome. So this bit here gives you the price. 27th is £30 per person. So that's for the whole holiday. That's not per night, that's for the whole holiday. And then you just click book. And here you can book your ferries down to the park if you want to get the ferry over. Obviously Italy is quite a long way from Cherbourg, so it's like 14.5 hours. So we won't be driving. Some people don't mind it. That's absolutely cool. If you think that's a cool road trip, I don't really fancy doing 14.5 hours in the car with the girls. So we'll be flying, so we'll book that separately. And here gives you the holiday cost. So it's £120 for the week, so that's £30 per person. There's a £2.80 booking fee. So the whole week from the 27th of May, which is the first day of the school holidays, for past year 4 comes to £122.80. And if you don't want to do those, you just scroll to the bottom and go book holiday park now. So yay, we have booked our holiday. That's all good. So what's going to happen now is you will get an email then from Eurocamp. At that point you pay the additional service charge, and you can also add on the linen packs. They give you a little login thing for Eurocamp. So there's nothing else really to cover other than it really is as simple as that. If you have managed to bag one of these holidays and you go and have a really, really lovely time, I shall take all the glory for that, yes, thank you. But if you go and you sleep in an air conditioning unit and you're eaten alive by rats, you imagine this entire video, really? Cool. Okay, so join me for the next vlogs. As I said, there's going to be a real quick one after this about bagging cheap flights for the family, and then I'm going to cover Walt Disney World on a budget. If you have ever been on the Walt Disney website and priced up a holiday to Florida for your family and then fallen on the floor and wept uncontrollably for a number of hours, I'm with you, sister. But I have managed to bag our Disney holiday for a third of the price of what it listed online. Okay, maybe not with all the bells and whistles, but if you want to get in on that and see how I've done it, and you want to see how I got the cheap park tickets, etc., etc., come and watch. It'd be really nice if you want to hit subscribe now, because then you can be emailed up to date when a new video comes up. You know this thing where they do, if you've watched, YouTube vlogs, clearly you watch YouTube, you're watching it now, but they do this thing where they go, look, I'm gonna click here and subscribe here and do this. Well, I watch YouTube on my Apple TV and they're just pointing at my lounge floor. It's weird. So there probably is a subscribe button somewhere around you. If you want to click on that, that's great. If this has been useful to you and you think it also might be useful to another family, you could just share this on in your social media. That would be really nice, because I've got no purpose of doing this other than trying to help people out that want to travel on a budget with their kids, because cool. Until next time, be kind, always be kind. Don't troll me. Don't troll me. Don't troll me.